Before we dive into the chilling depths of our tale, remember to subscribe to our channel for more spine-tingling content. Picture this: an ordinary school, its halls echoing with the carefree laughter of children. Yet, beneath the surface, a chilling past lurks, waiting to be unearthed. This isn't a figment of our imagination, but a tale steeped in the stark reality of the past. So gather your courage as we step into the hallowed halls of this eerie institution. Our story begins on a cold, dreary day as the school bell tolls, signaling the start of another mundane day, or so it seemed. As the echoes of the bell died away, the first whispers of unease began to ripple through the school corridors. Teachers, accustomed to the usual rhythm of the school day, found themselves pausing, puzzled by phenomena they couldn't quite put a finger on. Lights flickered without reason, doors slammed shut with no wind to blame, and the chalkboard messages were mysteriously wiped clean. The students, too, were not immune to the strange happenings. The usually boisterous lunchroom buzzed with hushed conversations about weird noises that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. A chilling draft, a shadow darting just out of sight, an inexplicable chill down the spine. These were the tales whispered in hushed tones. And then, there were those who felt watched. It was a sensation all too familiar to some, the prickling awareness of unseen eyes, the feeling of being followed, yet turning around to find no one there. The school, once a bastion of safety and learning, was now shrouded in a growing sense of unease. But this was just the calm before the storm, the first whispers of the horror that was yet to come. As days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences escalated into something far more sinister. It seemed as though an invisible hand was at play, wreaking havoc and sowing fear in the hearts of those who dared to tread the hallowed halls of the school. Books would fly off shelves without any human touch, landing with a loud thud that echoed through the silence. Doors would slam shut, the sound reverberating through the corridors, even when not a breath of wind was present. The once lively school was now filled with an eerie quiet, punctuated only by these inexplicable happenings. Then came the apparitions, ethereal figures that would appear and disappear in the blink of an eye, leaving behind a chilling cold. They were seen in classrooms, in the library, and even in the canteen, leaving everyone in a state of constant fear and unease. But the most terrifying incident was yet to come. One day, a student simply vanished. Hours turned into a day, and then two, but there was no sign of him. The school was searched from top to bottom, every nook and cranny inspected, but to no avail. Then, on the third day, he was found. He was in a room that had been locked from the inside for years, a room no one could have possibly accessed. He was terrified, his eyes wide with fear, and he could not, or perhaps would not, speak of what had happened. All he could do was mutter about a shadowy figure and a voice that echoed in his head. His experience sent chills down the spine of every person in the school. It was clear now that something truly malevolent was at work. The school was now in the grip of an unseen terror, a force that seemed to be growing stronger with each passing day. The once safe haven of learning was now a house of horrors, a place where every corner held the potential for a new, terrifying encounter. As fear gripped the school, a group of students decided to dig into the school's past, uncovering a dark truth. The whispers of the unseen were not just figments of imagination but echoes from a forgotten past. The school, as it turned out, was a silent witness to a tragic event that had occurred many years ago. The grandeur of the school's architecture hid a sorrowful tale. It was once a grand mansion, home to a wealthy family with a young daughter who met an untimely demise within its walls. This tragic event, shrouded in mystery and speculation, was now linked to the eerie happenings that unsettled the school. The chilling laughter, the flickering lights, the uncanny shadows, they all started to make sense. The students' discovery was like opening a Pandora's box. The more they uncovered, the more the unseen entity became restless. However, instead of being deterred, the students were more determined. This was no longer about proving their bravery or satiating their curiosity. It was about setting things right, restoring peace to their school, and perhaps giving the restless spirit the closure it sought. They delved deeper into the school's history, gathering clues and piecing together the jigsaw of the past. It was like playing detective, only the stakes were much higher. Each revelation was a step closer to understanding the spirit that haunted their school. The students' courage was unwavering, even in the face of an entity that defied their understanding of the world. Deducing the spirit's identity was just the first part of their daunting task. It was evident that a confrontation was imminent. They needed a plan, a strategy to face the unseen. But how does one confront a spirit? How do you negotiate with a force that is beyond the realm of the living? The students' resolve was put to the ultimate test. The haunting was no longer just a school legend but a reality they had to face. In the face of an unspeakable horror, the courage of a few shone through, bringing a glimmer of hope. Their actions were about to dictate the fate of their school, and possibly, the peace of a restless spirit. Armed with their newfound knowledge, the students decided to face the entity haunting their school. With hearts pounding like tribal drums, they stepped into the ghostly arena. Their breaths hitched in their throats as they felt the cold, eerie presence. The air was heavy, like a thick fog of fear and anticipation. They stood their ground, determined to reclaim their sanctuary. They began to recite the ritual they had learned, their voices echoing in the silent corridors. The entity, once a tormentor, now seemed to recoil, its icy presence wavering. The atmosphere grew tense, as if the very walls of the school were holding their breath. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. The weight in the air lifted, replaced by a peaceful silence. The entity was gone. And so, the school returned to its routine, the echoes of the past finally silenced. But the memory of the horror that once walked its halls, that will forever remain.